uh, Lauderdale is probably who is behind GCW, and it's probably the biggest independent promotion in the U.S. right now. I don't know if there's one bigger. Um,
House of Glory's
he
probably getting there.
about there, yeah. So he recently went on the Business of the Business podcast and confirms for himself that we're officially in a down cycle. So he pointed to everything from the economy and wallet fatigue to talking about a lack of genuine drawing power on the scene. And I guess that does raise an interesting question, right? Like in a world where WWE and AEW are running, stadium shows and pay-per-views, a good question is like, is there some emotional energy left or money left for like indie promotions? And I guess I want to break down Lauderdale's comments and figure out if, this is just a temporary thing or a permanent shift in the business. So, I mean, he talked about, like I said, the economy is a big thing. I think it's affecting everything, and indie wrestling. I mean, entertainment is just kind of part of that scenario. Inflation and people's money troubles, especially around Christmas right now. I mean, that's a common issue, right? Um, so we talked about, there's so much wrestling right now and it's tough for people to stand out. And he talked about, for many years, we had a lot of high profile indies that were running high profile events. They spent a lot of money. And, and then sometimes if you have a bad show, that kind of snowballs and maybe affects how people perceive it. And maybe they don't come back. Talks about the lack of drawing power. But he definitely thinks regardless of what the factor is, he definitely thinks that we're currently in a down cycle. So Chris, I guess let me ask you. So he mentions the economy and disposable income as the biggest factor. So with WWE tickets getting more expensive and AEW is also running frequent pay-per-views, do you feel like independent wrestling is the first thing to get cut from a wrestling's fan budget? Do you feel like is indie wrestling now more of a luxury item than a staple? What do you think?
I mean, depending on what kind of fan you are. I mean, if you're hardcore about watching wrestling, it might be something you just resort to actually more than going to those bigger shows from WWE or
Mm.
AEW.
David, I guess same question, but I'll add another layer to it, um, and let me know what you think. Do you feel like maybe there are wrestling fans who are burned out because we have so much content and Raw, SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, Collision, PLEs, pay-per-views, AAA, CMLL, New Japan? Do you feel like the average fan just doesn't have the emotional energy left to care about an indie show on a Friday night, or what do you think? Where do
I
you think
think
it's coming from?
I think it has to be dependent on I think it has to be dependent on the fan because and also like the drawing power of whatever indie shows being ran because like there's places that sell out even locally that we have a few that could sell out every month,
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And then we have some that can't, and then I think that just goes around everywhere. And I think making sure you're booking a great show is kind of where it starts. I think it's a product thing. It's also just like a star power thing because it's like who's there, and then
Right.
it's like okay, like a bunch of indie wrestlers, and you know, let- let's just say freaking random cruiserweight we're not thinking about right now from 2005 is there.
Super crazy.
Shit, he's from before that. Well, yeah, let's say super crazy. Like, okay, super crazy is there. Who's he wrestling?
Hmm.
Yeah, like,
I mean, yeah.
and then yeah, even like downward and like I don't mean that like in a negative way because when I go out, I enjoy indie shows. I also think that the average fan probably doesn't know how to save for 3 promotions.
I mean, yeah, I mean it's hard
Yeah.
for one,
It's
especially I
not
feel like
hard.
Yeah, very
It's
hard.
not hard. It's you skip 3 trips to any drive-through. There you go.
I mean that's true. You're right. Like if you really like zoom out, because sometimes you're so in the weeds when in like
Right.
people's
When they
spending
crib is
habits.
back.
If you like zoom out and be like, hey, I just ordered Grubhub like 5 times this week,
Yeah.
that's a wrestling show
That's my
ticket,
whole
right?
ticket. That's my whole not even wrestling show ticket. That's a WWE ticket and a nice seat.
Yeah. But
Like,
let's consider like that, like, because the downturn exists and there must
I
have been
think
a
it's these
time then.
wrestlers.
There must have been a time when it's like I can order Grubhub 5 times a week and still go out to a wrestling show, right?
When you
Like
didn't
their
care
habit
because
is the
Cody Rhodes
same.
was there.
Right.
No,
Right.
like serious. Like you didn't care because all these people were leaving Impact and going to indie wrestling. People were leaving WWE to wrestle in the indies. Now they
Yeah.
have a home,
Yeah.
AEW.
Do you feel like that affects then like people's willingness to go to those shows is because like a Cody and
Yeah, of course.
Mustafa Ali is in, TNA and WWE? Yeah. I mean that's true. Like star power obviously affects people's want to go to a show. And sometimes it might be timing too. Like saw Freelance has that show on the 13th, which is also the same night as, John Cena's retirement match. Um, and all the rows were still like open, like the first, second, third general admission. There were still like options available as of like Saturday. So that could be the John Cena timing thing. I mean, it could be what Brett from GCW said, where maybe it is a money issue, because I feel like last year when we went, it was sold out. I mean, it was a December show, wasn't it? Or a January show.
Yeah,
Um,
but they are also booking how they're booking. Not that their bookings like this is shows worse, but I mean it. And last December, that was what Chavo
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to figure out.
and
There
then
was Chavo,
Giselle
which,
Shaw
yeah,
was there.
Giselle.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, so you have, like you said, uh, stars that
but
people gravitate towards and they see it, they're on the show, and there's a higher chance of them going to the show because it's people that you know. And I think that's part of it, for sure. I think sometimes, I mean, even now, like if we like look at how quickly people, WWE, like they're on Netflix, and people thought, we had that meme with Triple H saying, the WWE's on fire right now, and that was the beginning of this year, right? And I don't know if it's the internet wrestling community or if it is actually reflecting in sales and gates, because sometimes it feels like maybe it does when people brought up like a SmackDown or whatever that landed on a specific holiday, but then they had Survivor Series and Monday Night Raw and all that kind of stuff, and they had a sellout crowd in like a giant baseball park. So I don't know. Like some people feel like WWE is in a bit of a downturn right now, but literally less than a year ago in January, the people were saying they're on top of the world. So I don't know
I mean, a
if
lot has happened since then, though, right? A lot has happened, right, with WWE since then, no?
I mean, people were a little disappointed at the results of like WrestleMania 41, and
well,
then
everybody always wants what they want to happen, and then they don't shut the hell up.
right. I mean,
But
like, people always complain about it,
right,
regardless if
like
it's
Sure.
like hot
no,
or if it's in a downturn, because it's the internet and there's somebody going to be complaining about
it's the
something.
internet, and I like wrestling, so I'm gonna ruin it for everyone else.
Right. So, but again, I don't know, like, do those data points factor into recent attendance. I don't know if that's like a general sense that, people, wrestling fans feel like.
Think about it this way, like this is probably one of the first years in a long time where like we're not thinking about like who might show up in a major promotion for the first time.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Like we're not thinking like, oh no, like who's gonna show up at the Rumble? Who's gonna show up in AEW? Like that's not going on right now.
Chris Jericho, baby.
Okay, but, right, yeah.
I guess Chris Jericho, but
No,
yeah, I mean,
I mean up and coming, like good, like like when was the last time you guys heard me go, oh hey, AEW picked up some indie wrestler that's great. Yet like
Haven't seen an all elite graphic in a while.
right, like who's coming out of that? Like NXT
Impact
still
Zone.
picks up wrestlers, not just NIL kids, and you haven't heard of NXT signing anybody.
That's
It's
true.
Like,
I mean,
who's the sign?
I guess that's the other thing. It's like everyone is so stacked and full right now, with the exception of maybe a Jericho or something. There's so much talent on every roster. I guess that kind of conversation doesn't really take place right now, just because there are so many stars. So that's true. I mean, yeah, I think, I mean, if it is it reflective of WWE and AEW right now? Maybe a little bit, but I think like the indie wrestling stuff, it might depend on the market
all on them.
too. It depends on the market. And I do think that people's spending habits and what they plan on spending does affect, this is like a trickle down effect, when it comes to like what people decide they want to spend their money on. If money's tight and they have to pay for, food and all that kind of stuff, then other things get cut, of course. But we'll see. I think that it might be, I mean, it's cyclical. It's all cyclical, right? There's a downturn, it gets better, there's a boom, and the bubble pops, and then we go back and forth again. But GCW promoter thinks that it's in a bit of a struggle right now, but I guess we'll see in the new year. But speaking of new things happening on the horizon,